Nation. The hobby is the people. Weekly news and interviews. It's your number one source. Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
Welcome to another jam-packed episode of the Sports Card Nation podcast, the show that brings you all the important news from the sports card hobby. We'll have some debates, opinions, new release schedules, and info. Plus, we'll also discuss the sports that so directly affect the hobby we all love. We'll mix in an occasional gambling tip or two, throw in some life stuff, and bring you great guest interviews from the hobby and sports dignitaries. And if you're good listeners, we may even give away a few things now and then. Now, here's the guy who wanted the cards and not the gum, John Newman.
Episode 63 of the Sports Card Nation podcast. I'm your host, John Newman. Got a really different guest on the show today. Different in the sense is he's a super collector. We've never really had a super collector on the show, but this super collector really is a super collector. His name is Richard Davis. He is a Wade Boggs super collector, but besides having basically a Wade Boggs man cave and a ton of Wade Boggs cards he does. He's also gotten to know Wade. Wade knows him and vice versa. So there's a little relationship there as well. And so we're going to have him on, talk a bit about his collection, how it started, his relationship with Wade Boggs, and you should find it very interesting. We hope you found last week's episode enthralling. Tom Guiderman, formerly of Upper Deck, now of Sage, telling you all about the 89 Upper Deck, the birth of it, basically, and of the iconic Griffey Jr. rookie. We're going to have Tom back on sometime in the future. He's got a lot of really cool backroom Upper Deck stories that he can share, and very interesting stuff. So we'll have him back on. Our guest next week is maybe one of the biggest ones, most likely the biggest ones we've ever had on the Sports Card Nation. I don't want to say who it is in case I don't want to jinx anything, but let's just say I'm really excited, assuming it happens. I think his knowledge and expertise in this industry knows no bounds. So hopefully that happens, and he'll be on the show next week. But let's talk about this week. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it.
Let's go!
Sports Card Nation podcast is your weekly hobby and sports podcast. Now on tons of platforms including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more. Listened to in 44 different countries globally, Sports Card Nation is one of the most interactive podcasts around, providing great content, giveaways, and some of the hobby's best interview guests without time constraints. Thousands can't be wrong. We want to thank all the wonderful listeners around the world, our awesome guests on the show, and our tremendous sponsors making us what we are today. Remember, without you, there's no us.
It's time for What's Cracking. All right, time to talk about what's shaking in the hobby and sports world. Let's start with the NBA. It's All-Star Weekend. Couple snubs that I find hard to believe how they didn't get in. Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. You look at the numbers, these guys should be easily in. I know Devin Booker was just named as a replacement for Damian Lillard, but truthfully, shouldn't have had to rely on someone replacing anybody. But it is what it is. Should be a fun NBA All-Star weekend. NBA is one of the sports that kind of gets All-Star weekend right. They do some different things, it seems like, every year. They try to keep it fresh. And the slam dunk competition, I know it's kind of old and tired, but it is still legendary, and you never know who's going to be in it and maybe what they'll come up with next. So I always enjoy that. So one of the sports that kind of gets All-Star weekend right. To Astros, some of the players are starting to go on the apology tour and apologize, and in that apologies they're really kind of making Carlos Beltran the mastermind. And then Jim Crane, the owner, comes out and says that despite the cheating, they would have won the World Series anyway. And I think that was really an unnecessary comment. It almost shows a lack of being unapologetic almost, and probably should be, even if he feels that way, probably better to not say that. Staying in baseball, Reese McGuire, what are you doing? Those that don't know, Reese McGuire is a catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he was just arrested in Florida in his vehicle with his pants down to his ankles, no underwear, doing something that should be done in your bedroom by yourself, and doing it, and he was doing it in a public parking lot. A Major League Baseball player under arrest. How you come back from this is beyond me. I hope his agent has some words of wisdom for him. But Reese, stay in your house and do that, please. But I'll stick up for him a little bit. I think maybe he was just excited that the 2019-20 Donruss Optic basketball was out at Walmart. That might have been a Walmart parking lot, and maybe he was one of the lucky ones to clear off the shelves. So it's the annual tradition, like the running of the bulls. It's the clearing up off the shelves of the Optic. I've been to a couple Walmarts, not even really to try to get Optic, but for other things. And obviously I checked. It wasn't there. I didn't even see empty boxes. So I don't think any of my local Walmarts or Targets have got it yet. Or maybe they have and someone just took the whole display, which would not be the first time that's happened. Phillip Rivers, career may be over. Him and the Chargers, I'm not sure where they play anymore, have parted ways mutually, and so he's a free agent. We'll see where he hasn't expressed any inclination to retire. And if you had 9 kids at home, you would probably not retire too. So he's probably going to play or try to play well into his 50s. But right now, he is teamless. Connor McDavid in hockey is out a couple weeks with a not a major injury, but significant enough to miss a couple weeks. Going back to baseball, Rob Manfred, what are you doing? Irking the whole league, or the majority of the league, with playoff expansion, wants to expand to 7 teams, wants to give division winners the option to actually pick their opponent. Different, but, baseball is sort of that old school, don't mess with tradition type of thing, so it's not being well received. I think he's trying to get more teams in the playoffs to get Mike Trout some postseason action. I appreciate the effort, but Mike's got to earn that, Rob, and his team's got to earn that. And, I really thought he really botched the handling of the cheating scandal with the Astros, and that's where his focus really needs to be, to do some damage control and clean up there. But no, he's worried about getting more teams in the playoffs and having each team pick who they want to play. I'm sure that won't create any bad blood when you get picked and you're viewed as a lesser opponent. There won't be any beanballs in those games at all. Upper Deck has came out with a box set for the box stores. It's the Upper Deck Rookie Exclusive Box Set 2019-2020. The last time they did this was Connor McDavid's rookie year. It will have 20 cards, I believe, in it. I think that the checklist is 25 cards. I could be wrong there, but kind of neat. They're all rookie cards. They're all exclusive. Can't pull them from regular packs, and something I might look in. I did see it the other day on the shelf. I had it in my hands. I didn't purchase it, but it may be something I go back and get. I've gotten more and more into hockey. There is I'm a huge Ranger guy. There is a Capo Caco in it, so maybe I'll just grab a box. $19.99 retail, so I think it's 20 cards, so $1 a card, and all rookies can't really go wrong. They're a huge find in the Midwest. Doesn't happen all the time, making big news. 7 sealed boxes of 1986, 87 Fleer basketball. I don't need to say anything more than that. You know what that is. MJ's rookie year, along with many other rookies, Barkley, Olajuwon, my man Chris Mullin. Don't sleep on Chris Mullin. But, these boxes are few and far between to be found like this. They were found in the Midwest. The finder, they came from a storage unit. You watch Storage Wars, and someone buys a locker, I believe, sight unseen. I believe the locker, someone paid $1,000 for the whole locker, and in that locker, 7 sealed boxes of 1986, 1987 Fleer basketball. I think the ROI on this is going to be very good.
How you doing?
The person that bought that locker for $1,000 is going to feel pretty good. These 7 boxes were consigned to Golden Auctions, Ken Golden Auctions. They will be auctioned off in April. And the average return on 86, 87 Fleer basketball boxes in this condition are between $60,000 and $84,000 a piece. So let's take the median and go $72,000. You do $72,000 by times 7. You're looking at probably $500,000. Not bad for $1,000 investment. And who said you can't invest in cards? There's a hell of an investment right there. So I'll close out this segment with my review of the 2020 Topps flagship product. Frankly, I opened more than I initially planned to do. I used all those awesome Topps coupons that come in the blaster boxes, and then I made the mistake of buying another blaster box and then having to use those coupons. So all in total, I opened 2 blaster boxes, 4 hanger boxes, 4 jumbo packs, and 4 regular packs, all retail. I do like the product. I like some of the inserts. I do like the turkey red, the base and the chrome. Even pondered putting the turkey red set together, but decided not going to do that. I really did not do well on the first batch with rookies. I got no Bo Bichette's or Jordan Alvarez's. But then on my last run with the blaster and a couple of jumbos, I actually did pretty well. Hit a couple Jordans and a couple Bows, and I don't know if it made up for everything else getting skunked with those guys, but finally did hit them. I did not do well with any short prints or super short prints. In my last blaster, I did pull out a Mariano Rivera SP, about $10-15. His stuff does pretty well, so that was cool. I do like the inserts and whatnot. I did get actually two mem cards. One is a Asdrubal Cabrera, red, numbered to 25, World Series relic. Those tend to bring surprisingly decent money on the secondary market, so I may move that card just to offset some of the funds that I have tied up in the wax. And if you've heard the show before, you've heard me say, I didn't want to buy as much wax. I'm cutting down, and I've done better this year, but this Topps opening what I did sort of set me back. But it is the flagship. I do like it. I give it positive reviews. I said my piece on the million card rip, and but I do like the product. The rookies, we're going to see. A lot of people are already making the claim that it's going to perform better than the traditional Series 1, which a lot of times is void of rookies. There are some rookies, obviously Jordan, Bo, Gavin Lux, Nico Werner, Zach Gallen, those type of guys. But, we'll see how, I think Jordan's the real deal. Bo had a great second half in Toronto. We'll see, what second year brings him there with the young nucleus they got. But, traditionally it's Update that carries that. We'll see, how that goes. Got my Montgomery 582, the second set that's exclusive to members. It's a 20-card sticker set. Very, very nice looking. I actually, if you haven't seen it, I posted a video on Twitter of me previewing the set. They're thinner stock, but not super thin. They've got kind of a card stock feel. The backs have a card look to them, and it's heavy rookies. It's got all those rookies I just mentioned from the 2020 first series, and then it's got some Hall of Fame veterans: Bob Gibson, Ted Williams, Cal Ripken, Ivan Rodriguez, Mike Piazza, Roberto Alomar, and the like. I'll go through it. Harmon Killebrew, Bob Gibson, like I said. Strasburg is one of the few current players. Got a Luis Robert rookie. Javi Baez, Gavin Lux rookie. Wade Boggs, Bregman, Glavine, Piazza, Mookie Betts in the Red Sox uniform, and to say hey kid Willie Mays. It's a 20-card sticker set based on the 1968 action test stickers that they found in their vault. I gotta say, when I heard a sticker set was coming, I didn't get real enthralled or excited about it, but upon receiving the cards and seeing them, I say cards, but stickers, they look like cards. They're really, really sharp. I'll be honest with you. It wouldn't be a bad-looking design if Topps made this into like a regular set. So really pleasantly surprised by it. I might actually see sort of what they're going on the secondary market and maybe even buy some more. That's how much I liked it. So check them out if you get a chance. Check out the video I posted on my timeline. You can actually see what they look like. So I wanted to talk about a new marketplace that is about to hit the sports card scene, and it's called StarStock. StarStock is building a sports card marketplace aimed to be faster and cheaper for flipping sports cards than any other platform. This is a ground level moment in the hobby, and StarStock is currently looking for people who want to be the first to sell their cards at launch of this new platform. Due to launch in April of 2020, here's what StarStock is offering. 5% commission, no ingestion fees. You send in your cards, they do all the work and post for you. Cards are guaranteed and secured in the vault. Cards need to remain in the vault for trading. Can choose to ship cards back at any time. StarStock will be a flipper's paradise. You can buy, flip, store, ship cards with the click of a button. If you're interested in getting involved as a seller for launch, contact Mike at starstock.com before March 1st. StarStock is currently looking for sellers with rookie cards and prospect cards of current players. For more details, contact Mike at starstock.com. You can follow them on Instagram at StarStockMarket. That's all one word, at StarStockMarket. All right, my next guest on the One of One Card Shop guest line. We don't normally have super collectors on the show, so his claim to fame will be the first one of those to appear on the show. And if you know anything about super collectors, there's super collectors, and then there's this gentleman that I'm about to bring on. His name is Richard Davis, and he collects Wade Boggs. You may know him. He's fairly famous as far as super collectors go. So, Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into the whole Wade Boggs collection, it's the standard podcast hobby lead-off question. Like, how did cards start for you?
My dad got me into collecting. My first cards that I collected were the 82 Tops.
Yep.
Yeah, I was 8 years old. My dad started every Sunday after church. We'd stop somewhere. He'd grab a couple packs for me, and I distinctly remember owning 3 Cal Ripken rookie cards. I've since lost them. That's kind of what got me. That's kind of what got me started into it.
So you could have been a Cal Ripken super collector.
I could have been. Yes.
So, but again, before we get into the meat of the Wade Boggs collection, have you collected ever since then? Was there a lull? Did you a lot of our stories is you leave for 4 or 6 years, you go to college, girls become a priority. It's the old
right. There was a lull for me. I collected pretty hard from basically from 82 up through end of high school, which would have been 92, and then there was about a 5 or 6 year lull in the mid 90s where I was more focused on school and I wasn't really collecting. Although I never once stopped collecting Wade Boggs stuff. Though that's always been ever since essentially 85 is when I started collecting Boggs.
Yep. So you started the collection in 85. What drew you to Boggs? I mean, obviously he's a Hall of Famer, probably one of the greatest hitters in baseball history. Was it just that, or were you a Red Sox fan? What's the the backstory to how it became Wade Boggs?
Well, I knew exactly the moment I became a Wade Boggs fan. It was exactly Christmas morning, 1985. I had received a box of baseball cards as a Christmas gift. It was essentially a baseball card collector starter kit, 200 cards, and inside this box were several unopened wax packs. One of them being an '83 Donruss.
Yep.
And I opened it, and Boggs was right there on the top. Now I didn't really know who Wade was at the time, but I did play Little League baseball, and I played third base, and I knew the big three guys were Boggs, Schmidt, and Brett.
Yeah.
And but for me, I was just 10 years old at the time, and I knew Beckett had the card valued at $10, and I'm like, I got a $10 card in my hand, and I was just so fascinated with the card and him that basically that's what spawned me to essentially follow his career. And every morning during the baseball season, I was checking box scores, seeing how he was playing. Because I lived in Chicago, so I didn't get to really watch him play, except through just looking at his box scores and seeing all these numbers, 3 for 4, 4 for 5, So I was just like, man, this guy's so good, and I just started collecting them ever since then.
Yeah. So you're from Chicago now. Were you did you become a Red Sox fan in total, or were you're still a fan of your own teams, but Wade's your favorite player type of deal?
I am a diehard Chicago Cubs fan, but my second team is the Red Sox only because of Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so, it's funny when you talk about how things come about. Sometimes it's just that one card pulled, out of a pack, and it just it sets the tone,
Starts everything.
Yeah, little did you know in 1985, I'm sure, where this was really going to lead, For me, I'm a little bit older than you, I believe. My first pack was 1979. My grandfather bought it, and I'm a New York City kid, and I'm a Mets fan now, but as a kid, I was a Yankees fan and a big, huge Thurman Munson guy, or kid, I should say. Yep. The first pack I got, like the third or fourth card in was the Reggie, and in New York at the time, he was like Mr. Everything, and that was it for me. I was hooked. I didn't become a Reggie super collector, thankfully, I think, but that got me started into the cards, and this isn't about me, but the rest is history. But it's funny how one card can kind of set the course of getting into the hobby and collecting cards and whatnot. So when did you again, you became a huge Wade Boggs fan that Christmas morning, but when did the card portion of getting, as many Wades as you can really like kick in? When did that begin?
Probably my sophomore year in high school, and I actually got a job and was making my own money. And
Yeah.
that was really, because we had a card store in our town. It was pretty popular, and I was there pretty much every weekend. And it was called Mark's Baseball Cards and Comic Books. And Mark was a family-owned business, but Mark was a young kid such as myself. He was our age, and he was always there on the weekends helping out the store. And he knew I was a Wade Boggs guy, so every time I go in there every weekend, he'd have some stuff pulled out to the side for me, and I would buy it all in bulk.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how many of one card, I wanted them all. So.
That's cool. So obviously you collect Wade Boggs extensively. Do you collect other cards too? I mean, Wade Boggs is your focus, but do you do cards in general, or is it at this point that's the degree of difficulty there, just acquiring everyone?
Yeah, I gave up collecting cards as a hobby years ago, probably in the early 2000s, just because it was starting to get expensive,
Yeah.
And trying to keep up with all the sets, and then also with the Boggs stuff. So I stopped collecting baseball cards in the early 2000s, and since then have just focused mostly on Wade. Now I do have a decent Sammy Sosa collection. I've got over 1,000 different cards of him. So yeah, I do collect Sosa. But in the last few years, my son, who's now 12, he's huge in the baseball cards now.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy going to a card store with him and watching him open up a jumbo pack, and he's pulling all these cards. He knows more about these guys now than I did at his age. I mean, he's so head over heels with baseball. So I love watching that in him, because I see myself in him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
great.
awesome. Yeah, I love hearing stories like that where the next generation, kind of takes the baton, and when it's your own, flesh and blood, you can kind of it keeps you kind of interested and going and gets you revitalized. What does he think as of Dad's Wade Boggs Super Collection?
He enjoys it. He's a Mike Trout guy, but he does he loves to come down here. He always wants his. So he plays baseball. He's got teammates that he likes to hang out with, and he's had at least 2 or 3 over at the house because he wants to show off the basement, which is pretty cool. And then last year at the National, now my son Colton has met Wade a couple times now, but Wade, always said, "Hey Colton, how you doing?" Signed a ball for my son this past year, so he loves the attention. I guess there's not too many young kids who actually have a Hall of Famer who knows them by name. So
yeah, that's probably a short list, like you said. Yeah, that's cool. And we'll get into that too. And that's like I said in the intro, and the intro to the show, there's super collectors, and then there's super collectors that actually know the subject of their collection personally. So, do you know? Do you have a running count? Do you know how many Wade Boggs cards you have at any given moment?
Honestly, no, I don't actually. I don't. Now, my good buddy John, who's a Wade Boggs Super Collector, he and I have run a Facebook page for our collections about Wade Boggs. He's got everything computer cataloged, and he's got everything on a hard drive and on paper. He's got over, I think he told me over 5,300 different cards.
Yeah.
I know I'm not at his level as far as the short print cards and all these autographed cards. But,
yeah.
But so if I had to guess, I'm probably bulk around over maybe about 15,000 cards. How many different ones do I have? I got 4,000. I'll just throw out.
Yeah.
Maybe about 4,000. So yeah.
So we'll make this easy. I think this one is probably more up your alley. Let's focus on just the rookies, the 1983 issues.
Yep.
How many in total would you say you have combined? Fleer, Donruss, Top.
I can tell you exactly. I'm looking at him right now. So starting with his 81 minor league Paw Sox rookie card or minor league card, I got 30 of those. As far as I know, I've got the most of any collector.
Mm-hmm.
His 83 Tops, I'm at 590, so I'm 10 away from 600.
Wow.
I've got exactly 250 of his 83 Donruss, which was the first one I ever got. And then I'm at a paltry 150 on the Flair. my flair game.
Yeah. That's funny. And, you mentioned the Pawtucket Red Sox, the 81 TMCA card. That's not a very prevalent card. And like you said, having 30 of them is probably the most. You don't see a ton of those around. They're not a cheap card to acquire because they're not as prevalent. Did you have to buy sets to get them, or were you able to buy them like individually for the most part?
I've probably bought half individually and half as sets. I typically won't spend more than $35 on the card. If it comes in a set, I won't spend more than $50. The one that I spent the most on was the PSA 9. I think I spent maybe $90 on that one.
Yeah.
I would love to get a PSA 10, but I'm not obsessed with getting a 10. I don't really care, but
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that if anyone's never seen that card, it's one of those close face up close up ones of his face, and those close face up cards always sort of become iconic cards, like the 84 Donruss Mattingly, the 89 Upper Deck Griffey. And so whenever I see that Pawtucket Boggs card, it actually, I think about those other ones that are of that ilk, and
it's such a cool card.
Yeah, it is. And real quick, I have one Wade Boggs story. I actually met him myself too. There was an event. I'm here in Syracuse, New York, and not far from Cooperstown, about an hour and 10 minutes. And a buddy of mine is like a Hall of Fame Gold member, and so he gets all like the VIP stuff. And so it was Hall of Fame weekend, or the just before, when some of the other guys come back and they play the old timers game, and it was that weekend, and he couldn't attend, so he asked me, "Hey John, you want these? I have one ticket. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And my son, who at the time was he's 20 now, so this was about 4 years ago, so he's about 16. I asked him, "You want to go? You won't be able to go into the Hall of Fame, but we can go to the game. But to the event, you can, you bring a friend and you can walk around the city and go shopping and that." So it's like, "Yeah, I'm all right with that." So I wound up, Ozzie Smith was inside, Wade Boggs, Gaylord Perry, Raleigh Fingers, and so I shook Wade's hand. I said, "Man, it was a pleasure meeting probably one of baseball's best hitters," and he thanked me. "It's a nice meeting you," and posed for a picture. But later on that day, I post. I like to be fun. I'm kind of a funny guy, or try to be anyway. I posted a picture on social media. I think it was Twitter, if my memory serves me. I think it was Twitter, and I put the picture of me and Wade up with the caption, "One of these guys is the baseball's best hitter, and the other guy played for the Red Sox." And just being funny, because I played baseball in high school, and literally about an hour later, I get a notification, "Wade Boggs liked your photo." And at first I'm like, well, it's probably someone that you can make your name Wade Boggs. It's probably someone who is a Wade Boggs fan that just. And so I opened it up, and it was verified. Yeah, it was Twitter, so the actual Wade Boggs liked my joke where I said, one of these guys is one of baseball's greatest hitter, and the other played for the Red Sox. So apparently he gets my humor a little bit, or at least he liked it enough to like the picture. And that's one thing that stuck out. I don't know him obviously as well as you do, but he seems really down to earth, and even in talking to him for the brief couple minutes I did, I didn't get any sort of aura from him that I'm Wade Boggs, do you know who I am type of a deal from him. And then to look, just be on social media and see that and then like it, I think speaks volumes of the person he is. So that I'll lead into that, Richard. We're going to pause for a quick break, but when we come back, Richard Davis is going to tell us how he got to know Wade Boggs personally. Don't go away. One of One Card Shop offers a tremendous breaking experience, great customer service, and they're constantly pulling fire. Steve and his family take care of you like one of their own and treat you right. Anyone can break, but no one treats you like One of One. Come check them out on Instagram at one_of_one_card_shop. For all the hot breaks, get a gold mailer headed your way. When did you first really start to get to know, like, how did that all kind of transpire?
Well, it started on Twitter. I think I joined in 2012, and I basically joined Twitter essentially just to follow him because I knew he was on Twitter.
Yeah.
So it took maybe like a year of just constantly tweeting pictures of my collection and always tagging him. That led to I'll never forget it too. I work in emergency medicine, and I remember I was working, and it was a pretty busy day. And I remember hearing my cell phone go off. It chimed. And I figured, okay, maybe somebody's texting me, maybe my wife, but it did sound like a Twitter alert charm. So I'll get to it later. And like maybe an hour goes, I finally got a chance to sit down, and I opened up my phone and I turn it on, and at the top it says Wade Boggs now following you on Twitter. I'm like, no, there's no way, And I kind of just looked at it for a little while. I'm like, what? And yeah, so sure enough, I opened it up, and I went to his page, and right next to his name, it said, follows you. And I'm like, oh, man, he follows me now. So it was so cool. And that's kind of when it started.
Yeah, that is cool, that he thought enough of you. And so, I mean, I recently, I know at this year's National, you obviously can tell the story better. You gave him something, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, he gave me something. I texted him not texted him, but I messaged him through Twitter.
Yeah.
A few weeks before the National. I said, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I think it was right around 4th of July. I think I wished him a happy 4th of July, and he wished me the same. And then his next follow-up text was, see you at the National. I've got something for you. And I was like, I had to read that like 3 times again. I'm like, whoa, he's got something for me.
Yeah.
And so I mean, obviously I was curious as to what it could be, but I didn't want to think about too hard about it. And so sure enough, I did. So that morning at the National, my buddy John and I, we did a photo op with Wade. And as I approached him, he goes, "Hey, Rich, I got something for you. You're gonna love it." And so I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! I can't believe this." So we did our picture, and then it was our turn to get called in the line there. And I'm making my way through the line, and it's my turn now to go up to the desk where he's at, or the table. And he goes, "Hey, I got something for you." And I think I got it on video. I put it out there on Twitter. But he handed me a jersey that he wore at the 2018 his celebrity softball tournament that he has every year at the Field of Dreams.
Yep.
And he handed it to me, and I was like, "Well, this is so cool! I wasn't really expecting this." And then his agent, who was sitting next to him, says, "Where do you want him to sign it?" So he signed it for me too, and he signed it to Richard, my number one collector, Wade Boggs, and it was totally cool. I mean, he's been so good. He's been so good to me,
Yeah, and it makes you, I mean, it's better than the alternative. You collect someone and then they turn out to be, someone not so nice, let's say, or
exactly.
So it's nice when someone who you idolize and look up to actually lives up to the billing, and then reciprocates that as well. And like I said, I met him briefly, and then that him liking the photo, I just got a vibe from him that he was just a really down to earth kind of nice guy. And it's whenever you see that of someone of that stature, a Hall of Famer, it's always refreshing to see. So
yeah, he seems to get it. Like, he knows his position in baseball history. He knows he did what he did, and he appreciates his fandom, and that's the impression I get. Like you said, he doesn't throw airs. He seems to be pretty approachable and a really down to earth guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? Does he collect any of his own cards? Like, when has he ever mentioned anything or anything?
I believe that he does, and I've always wanted to ask him this. I may have even tweeted him this question, but he never answered. But I do recall, if my memory serves me correctly, when I was younger, reading an article, something where he was interviewed, and he was asked, do you ever collect any of your own stuff? And I swear in this interview he admitted that at the time he had owned over 1,000 of his own 83 Topps rookie cards.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I'm on the hunt for 1,000, because I want to at least get to where he's at.
You want to pass the master mentor. You want to pass the master. That's funny, but it makes sense. I can understand that. And you know, a lot of those players. I don't know how it is now, but even back then they were given, you know, usually by the companies, you know, I don't know how many, a few hundred of their cards to give the family and friends and that sort of thing. So a lot of times that's how those players sometimes acquire them and through the card companies themselves. So you mentioned Topps. Is that the card you have the most of?
Of his rookies, yes. I actually own the most. My favorite card of his is the 84 Topps. I absolutely love that card. I love the design.
Yeah.
I've got over 800 of them myself. But my buddy John, who I mentioned already, he's got over 1,000, so he's beat me on that. But
yeah.
84 Topps, the 84 Topps is my absolute favorite Boggs card.
That's cool. Now, how many autos, like cards, do you would you say you own? And when I say cards, not so much maybe one he signed himself like in person, but that come out of products already certified and signed.
Yeah, the last I counted I was in the ballpark of 350.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's insane. and you know, for those who haven't seen it, the pictures are out there. I don't know if I'll, at the end here, I'll let you give out any social media that you want to share. But I've seen pictures of the Wade Boggs man cave, and it's just, you know, I've seen man caves, I've seen like team related ones, I've seen other player related ones, but this one to me from the ones I've seen really takes the cake. I mean, and it's just well set up, and the lighting, and I mean, it's just well done how you did it. What, you know, it's one thing to collect the cards. What got you to go that, you know, one step further and do that setup?
I've always wanted to do like a room dedicated to just him. Ever since I was even just a young kid, I remember like, okay, this is what I want. Yeah, you know, girls, they grow up, they want the perfect wedding and the perfect day. I grew up wanting the perfect basement. For my collection. And I'm not just saying that to be. I mean, I seriously wanted I wanted the biggest collection, and of course, obviously, Boggs would be my focus, and I just wanted to have everything displayed out, and basically, I wanted a feeling of a museum, and a sports bar feeling all in one. So I think I've achieved it. I think.
Yeah, it's cool. And like I said, if for those out there listening, if you haven't seen this, make a point to find the pics and check it out. You don't have to be a Wade Boggs fan or even a Red Sox fan to appreciate it. It's just the way it's set up and the light, the whole package. It's just very well done, and
I appreciate that.
You know, it's impressive. So when new products come out, are you like you said, you don't really so much open them, but you do go on the hunt for like the new Boggs cards that do get released?
I do. Yeah, I'm on eBay pretty much every day, much to the consternation of my wife, who's always like, "You got off of eBay?" I'm like, "Damn, I gotta get all the new cards out."
Yeah. Now, do you know like which ones you're missing? Can, like, if you see a card, like, I don't have that one. Can you do that by sight, or is it just so many?
I can. I mean, every once in a while, I'll be like, God, do I have this one or not? And then I got to go on the hunt. But for the most part, I know which ones I'm like, I got that. Oh, I need this one, So, yeah, I'm pretty, I'm able by memory to know what I need and what I don't have.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I appreciate you coming on and sharing it. Like I said, we don't normally, not that there's anything wrong with anyone who's a super collector. We've never had one on prior to you, but you go past your average super collector, and again with your relationship, getting to know Wade, and the amount of cards you got and the rookies. I knew you had a lot of the Pawtucket ones as well. I seen that in the pictures, and just kudos to you for the wherewithal. People get, I hate to say it, but people start something and, 2-3 years into it, fizzles out. And, so here from a day in 1985, here we are in 2020, and that thing's going strong. And
oh, yeah, it'll keep going.
Yeah.
And at this point now, I just want to get him here, just just for a quick visit. I got some Miller Lights in the fridge. If he just come here and just talk baseball with me for an hour, and I'd be the happiest super collector in the world. Yeah,
that would be something else. And hey, I listen. I hope it happens. That would be a probably surreal moment for you. And if anyone probably deserves it and done their due diligence, I think you would qualify. So again, Richard, thank you for sharing that stuff and telling your story. Again, I'll let you have the final word here. Anything you want to share, your social medias, or where people can see the Wade Boggs, basement, man cave, whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, thanks. I really do appreciate you having me on. This is awesome. I do appreciate the attention, and I like getting the word out for the collection. Yeah, I can be found on Twitter. My handle is @Boggs328. 328 being his lifetime batting average. And then John and I have a Twitter page together, Wade Boggs @Wade Boggs Fan. And then we also have a Facebook page called Wade Boggs Super Collector page. And that's where we can be found on Facebook. So, and again, but I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
No, I'm glad you came on. I appreciate your time. And you know what, if someone else, might be one of those things, someone sees, kind of what you're doing, what you've done, and might be inspiration to them to do it as well. And that's, that's the hobby, that's the fun of it. And that's what it really should be about. So I love that stuff. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We love our listeners. Without you, there is no us. We care about your opinions and feedback and invite you to reach out to us on any of our social media accounts. On Instagram @SportsCardNation Podcast, Twitter @SportsCardNati1, or email the show at sportscardnationpc@gmail.com. We don't ask for much, but if you really like the show, give us a shout out. Tell your friends or give us a follow on our social medias. If you enjoy the show, please give us a positive review on iTunes or any of the platforms you are listening on. Thank you.
Let me tell you about Iron Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're your number one source for all your PSA grading submission needs. They are constantly submitting, so they are always at the ready when you're ready. They offer various turnaround levels at the lowest prices around. Cards are insured to and from PSA at no additional cost to you. And they even provide the card savers your precious cards need to be put in before being sent to PSA. They take care of that for you. And because of their elite status at PSA, they have some of the best turnaround times around. They even have group chats for each submission, so you know exactly where your status is on your cards. They have open dialogue and open communication. What are you waiting for? Contact Rob on Facebook on Iron Sports Card Group. That's Iron Sports Card Group on Facebook. Or get a hold of Rob on Twitter at Iron Sports Cards. All one word, at Iron Sports Cards. They'll take care of you.
The eerie, inescapable truth. People really win
on SCNP. And now here's your chance to get a second entry in the $50 giveaway for the Bright Credit to 101 Card Shop. There's two ways to get an entry. The first is to find the pinned Twitter post on Sports Card Nation on Twitter. Retweet that post. There's your one entry. And to get a second entry here, earlier in the show, Richard Davis talking about his Wade Boggs Super Collection mentioned how many Topps rookies he has. How many Topps rookies does Richard Davis have? Private message or direct message that answer to us, and you'll be entered to win this week's prize of the $50 break credit from One of One Card Shop. Thank you. Tired of that standard annoying team bag? You know the ones I'm talking about. They get wrinkly, baggy, scratched up, and cloudy where you barely can see your prize cards anymore. I was too, until I found the answer. And that answer was crystal clear. That answer, Superior Fit Sleeves. These sleeves are crystal clear, smooth as silk, and have been what collectors have been longing for all this time. The solution comes in all sizes, from thick magnetics, top loader size, graded cards, and many, many more. I use them. I swear by them. Find yours today at www.superiorfitsleeves.com or go to eBay and search eBay seller Richie707. That's RICHY 707. You can thank me later. Well, that concludes another episode of the Sports Card Nation podcast. Hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank again my guest, Mr. Richard Davis, Boggs Super Collector. Again, I can't stress enough, if you haven't seen his Wade Boggs room, and even in pictures, go check that out. Very impressive. And, whenever you hear someone in the hobby finding a passion, pursuing it, and staying with it, to me, I always find that hobby-wise very inspiring. Something someone else can maybe look at and take a page from their book. And whether it's Wade Boggs or another player or a team or whatnot, there's a lot of things you can do in this hobby. I know a lot of people say, well, it's getting expensive. I say that, we're pricing the kids out, and it's this is crazy and that's crazy. I'm not even saying you're wrong, but there's, we can pivot, we can do various different things and still stay in the hobby and keep it on a level of passion where we love, and it doesn't always have to be about dollar signs. And I guess I'd like to see more of that. When I do see it, it's sort of refreshing. So again, it was nice having him on and seeing that side of the hobby too. It's not always just dollars and cents, although I know that's a very important aspect of it, truth be told. Again, a couple things. I may have a special announcement in a week or two on a new project. That's all I can say. Nothing is confirmed as yet, so I don't want to say that. Next week's guest, if everything goes well, is someone, like I said, I truly admire in this hobby, that is a very important person in this hobby. Again, I know I'm kind of teasing the appearance, but until we conduct that interview, I don't want to jinx anything. I'm a superstitious kind of guy, but assuming he comes on, it's an interview I really look forward to doing. So hopefully that occurs. And if you haven't seen our Saturday show, Hobby Hotline, it's a call-in show live Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. to or 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. Some of the podcast hosts got together. Myself, About the Cards, Drew Herndon, Val from NASCAR Radio, Mojo Break guys, Doug and Dan have gotten together, Mike Summer. And it's every week you'll see probably different hosts. Some of us who it isn't even our week to be on might pop in and say hello and put in our 2 cents and be nosy. But it's a live call-in show. It's not been done to that level in a long time. The first episode was very good, and we hope that it continues to be very good. So check Hobby Hotline out. Give us a follow on our social medias. There's going to be giveaways early on here, and there'll be giveaways later on as well. So a lot of these podcasts, I do give away plenty of stuff, and being over there, I'm going to do it over there as well. So check us out, Hobby Hotline. I think you'll enjoy the platform and how we do things. It's not your average podcast. So, all right. With that being said, we're going to call it a wrap. Enjoy the All-Star basketball weekend festivities, and take care.
You've been listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast. Join host John Newman next week as he gives you another jam-packed episode of all things related to the sports card hobby. And a little extra fun, too. Don't forget to check out the show on Instagram at Sports Card Nation Podcast.